A new Division I women's volleyball poll has been released. Pitt with 41 first place votes, Nebraska with 19 first place votes, Penn State with 1 first place vote, Louisville, Stanford, Creighton, Texas, Kansas, Wisconsin, Purdue, Oregon, SMU, Arizona State, Minnesota, Kentucky, USC, Georgia Tech, TCU, Florida State, Utah's now ranked, Dayton, Baylor, Florida, BYU, and Auburn. Obviously, Washington dropped out of the poll from last week to this week. Now, we're seeing vote teams goes as follows: Arkansas with 89, Washington with 62, Marquette with 26, Texas A&M with 19, UCLA with 5, North Carolina with 4, South Dakota State with 4, and Virginia with 4. And I might as well just go over the RPI now before I go over like my top 10 and some top 25 showdowns. So RPI wise, you know, it does affect potential seeding for the NCAA tournament, whether or not you're going to host up to like Sweet 16 weekend, like Sweet 16 and Elite 8. Even if you do lose in a Sweet 16, you're still going to be a host, but you get the point. In first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament. And it also helps those bubble teams if you have a good enough RPI. So really the top 16 in RPI, and granted, we'll see how much this goes into play here down the line here. Louisville, Nebraska, Creighton, Pitt, Penn State, Stanford, Texas, Oregon, SMU, Kansas, TCU, Auburn, Utah, USC, Purdue, and Dayton. I'm just going to go over like 35 through 65 or so, like up to 70, just to give some context on potential bubble teams. It's more like 40 through 70 or 65, but you get the whole point. Virginia, South Dakota State, Miami, Florida, Ole Miss, UTEP, Florida, Indiana, Georgia, Long Beach State, Wright State, Loyola Marymount, in California, South Carolina, Yale, UCLA, University of Northern Iowa, Tennessee, Michigan, College of Charleston, Colorado State, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, UC Davis, Arizona, Colorado, SFA, Cal Poly, Florida Gulf Coast University, LSU, Tulsa, Wichita State, Towson, South Florida, Hawaii, Northern Colorado, Clemson, and UConn. And granted, some of those teams may be like one bid leagues, and if it's a one bid league, you got to win your conference tournament or a conference in general just to make the NCAA tournament, because it is not a guarantee there is a conference tournament for some of these conferences here. So I'm just letting y'all know about that. So you guys win the conference essentially if you're like one bid league. That's simple enough. Now, for those bubble teams, you gotta avoid bad losses, and if you have a conference tournament, try to get further in the conference tournament. If there is one, that's the thing. And especially if you want to try to fight yourself into a top 16 seed, potentially, you gotta avoid the bad losses avoid bad losses and get as many wins as possible. And if you want to try to even be like a top, like a good enough host site, if you win the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament, you get to host Sweet 16 Elite 8. You got to have a good enough RPI to be there to begin with. So that's just saying the basics right now. Now, my top 10 Division I women's volleyball goes as follows. It's similar and it hasn't changed from last week to this week. Once again, Pitt, Nebraska, Penn State, Louisville, Stanford, Creighton, Texas, Kansas, Purdue, and Wisconsin. Now, outside looking in goes as follows: Oregon, SMU, Arizona State, Minnesota, Kentucky, USC, and Georgia Tech. And that's in no particular order, by the way. Now, there are some top 25 games between now and next poll. Number 5, Stanford at number 12, SMU. Number 11, Oregon at number 9, Wisconsin. Number 20, Utah at number 24, BYU. Number 5, Stanford at number 1, Pitt. And number 14, Minnesota at number 3, Penn State. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys later on the road to 7 subscribers. Of course, ultimate goal is 1,000 more. So my money out this course, like a video. Comment video really helps YouTube algorithms. So more people see it. Sharing the video does help as well, so more people could watch it. And if you're watching, hit subscribe button for the notification bell as well.